Mind Ascension here, currently under the waters of noon. Thankful and grateful, grateful and thankful. Peace to my 6 to 22 strands, 7 to 9 ether, you melanin, selenium base, black gods of this planet. Y'all already know Mind Ascension. I love taking my long walks, especially in the rain. It's a beautiful night tonight because it's that type of rain, that's that mist. You know, that's that anointing mist. Pardon me, I know there's gonna be times where y'all can't see me too well, but I'm embracing the fact that I am definitely a different kind of energy and do things in a different kind of way. And I know the different kind of way definitely makes my audience smaller, and that's fine. Been embraced that for years. Now, tonight, I want to do a combination of explanation and breakdown combined to what's currently going on right now, as well as the science behind it. There is an origin, there's a source to everything, there's an equation to everything in all existence. I don't care what the fuck it is, dog shit, space, whatever the fuck you want to call it. There's an equation, there's a science to everything because science is nature and nature is science. There's geometry in the trees. There's temperature and ions within the air. Everything has an equation. Now, currently as we speak, there's a situation going on with one of these rapper people where the letter gang mafia is of course under attack. Now, I should have titled this, but let's discuss the difference between having respect for a woman and the aspect of cherishing a woman. Because not too long ago, I got into a pretty decent and very civil and very peaceful discussion and debate with a brother of the glandular dysfunction and imbalance, which is the scientific term that you might refer to as homosexual, gay, so on and so forth. This is in no way, shape, or form attempting to attack or be derogatory in any way, but it's just a scientific fact that when you look at the glandular structure from the pineal, the pituitary, the hypothalamus, going all the way down what they call the endocrine system, which is connected to the sexual reproductive system, when you put that out of balance, what do you think is going to happen? You know, so of course we don't like to hear this. We don't like to address this because we want to live in a pretend world where everything we feel and everything that we're taught to feel as good is a reality. And we want to always be nice and always say nice things and make everybody feel good. The thing that's interesting about that is, as we're always worrying about making others feel good about their dysfunction, about their abnormalities, about their own behavior. Perfect example. We live in a society today that praises obesity. Now, all of us should be smart enough to know that being an obese motherfucker is not healthy. But yet we live in a society that praises obesity in our black women. Because you know they don't praise it in black men. Because if you see a fat ass black man that can't walk right and that got big ass titties, I don't hear no women talking about how sexy he is. But we live in a society that praises obese women, which is dangerous and unhealthy. And quite frankly, not intelligent. That's like me praising a crackhead or praising a heroin addict. Doesn't make any sense. But of course, in this current society, we want everybody to feel good depending on your orientation and on your gender, which simultaneously we say is only a social construct. Because there's numerous things that are praised when women are involved, but then are in a sight of distaste and disgust when men are involved. But anyway, now, this brother that I was conversing with some time ago, and I brought up the point that the so-called, let me do this right, family, because as y'all know, every way you word or you say something depends on whether you will be heard, or depends on whether our recessive pale masters will allow us to be heard. So I have to be very careful as Mind Ascension, even though I see a lot of other platforms who speak so vulgarly and use the worst language you could possibly imagine, and they still seem to have a platform. But as soon as Mind Ascension attempts to break something down with a form of eloquence, a form of intelligence, no derogatory terms, no curse words, no vulgarity, I'm still blocked, deleted, put in internet jail and all this stuff. So let's utilize our expansion of vocabulary and articulation to not only redefine words in our language, but to start to recode what we say. All right? So, this brother, who, of course, is of the persuasion of his own reflection, which is also a form of narcissism, by the way, because our design by nature, mind, body, and spirit, is to be attracted to the things that we do not possess and we are not. See, when you are attracted to something that's exactly the same as you, you're basically attracted to yourself, which is a form of narcissism, okay? Everything that I ever say can be found by definition and by the slightest aspect of utilizing logic, reasoning, and intelligence can be concluded with the same foundation. All you got to do is look past how you feel about what is being said. All you got to do is look past how you've been conditioned to accept what you see. And you will find that the correlations within the explanation are exact, are precise, and most importantly, are consistent. See, truth, the foundation of truth lies in the consistencies of patterns, observations, experiences, circumstances, equations, whatever you would like to call them, elements. This is the foundation of truth. If you know a friend or a family member who has stolen from you more than once and who has stolen from other people more than once, that is a consistent behavior that leads to the truth of that individual being a thief. What makes it true is the consistency of the behavior. So it's no longer an opinion. It's no longer a speculation. It's a consistent observation. All right. So one thing I mentioned, and one thing that I think is very important to point out, and I truly hope that our women will utilize this point logically, intelligently, reasonably. If I have a society based in being attracted to the same sex, a society based in homosexuality between males, where exactly does the female fit into that society? Now, through traditional aspects, which literally go back millenniums, from centuries to millenniums, in all civilizations on the planet, except, of course, two exclusive ones. Excuse me, not two exclusive ones. We're talking about Greece, Rome, and we're talking about parts of so-called Arabia, so-called fake Middle East, which doesn't exist. But we're talking about people who imitated another people. But outside of those regions alone, the rest of the world had a women come first aspect, has a mother come first aspect, has a queen on top aspect, and man coming second, king coming after. As a matter of fact, all royalty was born from the woman. Every ancient civilization acknowledges that. All royal bloodline comes from the mother, not from the father. And even the very few patriarchal societies still acknowledge the mother and the woman, especially the council of elders, as higher than the chief or the king. So they still acknowledge the same concept. The only difference is they acknowledge the man as the forefront of order, the forefront of war, the forefront of establishing a structure of protection of the civilization and nation. So, when you're dealing with a society that attempts to destroy the differences within our design, attempts to merge all designs together as one, while simultaneously giving specific attention to one design or one group of individuals over another, which is contradictive, of course. Now, you have a state of confusion based on these contradictions, which the only way to make right is to utilize imagination, which is where we're at, because how you feel is the truth. And then on top of how you feel being the truth, how you feel has to be validated by who rules you. Because guess what? The way mind ascension feels, nobody gives a shit about. See, the way a man feels or a woman feels in the society that doesn't agree with the society, that feeling doesn't count. So the fact of the matter is, all our feelings don't matter. So while they're teaching you how you feel inside is your truth, and then when I tell someone that I feel inside A, B, and C, I can't walk in that truth if it's not validated by your master. Because when I speak my truth, it's not truth, isn't it? Let's say that one more time. For all the females that I hear constantly regurgitating this trend of walk in your truth, speak in your truth, live in your truth. When I speak my truth, when I live my truth, when I walk my, it's not true. Isn't that quite interesting? So who dictates the truth or the reality that comes and stems from one's individual's feelings? Who is the one that says what you feel inside is right, but what you feel inside is wrong? I tell you, I feel like an XY chromosome masculine black male who is the original originator of this planet Earth and the father of all civilization. Oh no, that's not right. That's wrong. Oh, well, here goes the other person. I feel like a giraffe. Oh, well, hey, whatever you feel inside, who's validating all of this? Who's dictating all of this? Once again, it's another contradiction, because we're taught in this current society that how you feel on the inside makes you what you are. So if I feel like God on the inside, I can't claim my Godship to the world because it won't be acknowledged as a truth, even though I'm walking in my truth. Anyway, now, this brother, and you know, by the way, I don't have a problem with those who are under the Roman rule and conditioned by Greek society, because that's where we are. We are in a corporation, we are under Roman rule, and we're within a Greek society. The sooner we accept this and understand this and then study those societies, we will see how exact they are to where we are today. There's only one thing missing from that, well, excuse me, it's not necessarily missing, but it hasn't been full-blown embraced yet, which it will. And y'all should know what I'm talking about if you study Roman and Greek society. But now, this good brother, who is nothing but a victim of the effects of this current conditioning, the society, chemical conditioning, biological conditioning, so on and so forth, which affects the endocrine system, which affects your sexual reproductive organs, which affects the blood being sent to your sexual organs that you call arousal, okay? I stated that it's impossible for those of that glandular dysfunction and imbalance, which we call homosexuality, to actually cherish the woman in her proper place within existence of nature and humankind. See, the woman is designed to be cherished because she is the only source of humanity in itself. If I have a factory and I have one specific machine that literally assembles the product I sell, why am I protecting the assembly line? Why am I protecting the worker who opens the door? What I should be cherishing and protecting is the machine that produces all the products, not the assembly line that sends the product out, not even the customer service. All those things come second. It is the production of that product in my business that must be cherished and protected for my business to last. Then secondly comes my customer service, comes my workers, comes my assembly line. That comes after. So this also goes into why we will never, ever, in no point in time of all existence, be equal to each other. You can claim equal in importance, if that feels better. But as far as our design and our purpose and our function, we are not equal. Simple as that. And personally, as a man, masculine, heterosexual black man, I don't want to be equal to a woman. I know the power that she holds that can become unbearable at times. I know the power that she holds that can become destructive internally at times. So it takes a lot of power to be a woman. And this is why the feminine is always in need of some form of guidance, some form of direction, some form of order. Now, of course, today she's been taught to reject the man from providing that, so she looks for it in every other place besides him. She looks for it in her horoscope. She looks for it in her children. You think mommy should go back to work? She looks for it in everything else besides the one that was designed to provide it to her. She looks for it in her trends. She looks for it in her social media. She looks for it in the justice white system. She looks for it in the educational white system. She looks for it everywhere besides the one that was designed to provide it for her. Now, understand, if my preference and priority is of that individual who possesses the same design as me, the same physique, the same anatomy, the same sexual reproductive system, I am, in essence, desiring myself, which is a form of narcissism. So within that field of desire, within that field of priority, where does the woman fit as far as cherishment? Now, this person said, oh, I cherish, this person said, I respect women. Well, guess what? I respect rats. I respect roaches. I respect dogs. I respect trees. I respect insects. See, having respect for something is just the ability to allow it to be whatever it is. Having respect for something is not cherishment. I can see a woman and respect that she exists and walk right by her. Having respect for something does not equate to the obligation of protecting it. Let me say that one more time. Having respect for something does not equate to the obligation of protecting it. You might respect your neighbor's house. You might respect your neighbor's car, but you're not running to go put out the fire on somebody else's house. You're not making that neighbor's car your top priority. You might respect it. You don't touch the car. You don't bother the car. You don't damage the car. But if somebody steals it, you're really not going to care, because it's not your priority and it's not your possession and it's not your desire. So if I'm a homosexual male and my priority in life is to build a loving relationship and foundation for life with another male, my priority is to love and spend a lifetime, marry, adopt a family with another male. How exactly does the cherishment for the women in that society fit whatsoever? Because by my dysfunction, my priority will always be myself equaling another male, which is narcissism. Okay? Please follow me. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Please interject. I'm here to listen to everybody. Please don't stay quiet. Now, respect and cherishment. Two different things. As a man who is naturally, peace, God, Vanessa, Anthony, peace, peace, King, knowledge, understanding, noble guidance, peace, Queen, qualities uniting, essential earth nurturing. As a man, within the balance of my glandular structure, which is my endocrine system, which dictates my sexual reproduction, and the balance of my arousal to my sexual reproduction, I desire a woman. I chase women. I covet women. I need women. I'm obsessed with women. You see? Because it's part of my design. I want everything that I'm not. I want everything that I don't possess. I want everything that don't look like me. I want something that I can spend the rest of my life studying and understanding constantly. Within cycles of emotions, within cycles of experiences, within cycles of sensations. How do I do that to another penis when I already have a penis? I've had my penis since I was born. So what am I learning from the other penis? What am I learning different? How am I growing and expanding with another penis? We're not talking about reproduction right now. We're not talking about making babies. We're not talking about none of that human aspect that seems to be the only thing that we can utilize sometimes when we don't know any better to support the lack of encouragement within the orientation that I'm referring to now. So I'm not talking about making babies. I'm talking about as a man born with the male anatomical structure, meaning that every day of my life, I've touched my penis, seen my penis, watched my penis urinate. I've felt ejaculation from my penis. I know exactly what my penis does, and I know exactly what it's there to do. So when I meet another penis, how am I expanding in that relationship due to the other penis that's like my penis? But see, when my priority is the feminine, when my priority is the woman, I must learn the curves of her body. I must learn where she should and should not be touched. I must learn what her breasts are for. I must learn her vulva, her clitoris. I must learn the points of the inside of her canal. I must learn so many things that allows me to spend a lifetime in class with my complement. And you know why this creates expansion? Because not only have I mastered myself as the masculine anatomy, but I expand through the mastery of the feminine anatomy through observation and experience of my love and sexuality with my opposite. So now I have twice the knowledge. Now I have twice the wisdom. Now I have twice the experience. So now I could break down both the masculine and the feminine. Can a homosexual break down the feminine? Can a homosexual go in depth with the beautiful secretions of the yoni? Can a homosexual go in depth with the science of the areola, the breast, the nipples? Can a homosexual go in depth with the anatomical structure of a woman's body, her curves, what they are for, the beauty of them? Ask your homosexual friend to describe the beauty of a woman. Ask your homosexual friends what makes a woman beautiful. See, that's almost an oxymoron because they don't like women. And when I say they don't like women, I'm not saying they won't use you to create a form of osmosis to absorb and imitate your femininity. A lot of y'all work with people that you think like you. A lot of y'all go to school with people that you think like you. A lot of y'all have teachers and parents that you think like you. And they don't. They just know how to act cordial and know how to be respectful enough to allow you to continue your existence within their presence. That's not cherishment. You know what this is like? That's like a parent who thinks being a good parent is making sure your child has a roof and your child has food. So because you bought a hamburger and put your child in a cardboard box, you think you're a good parent. It's the same concept. But being a good parent is far beyond that. Far beyond that. As a matter of fact, you must put yourself last the same way a man must put himself last to a woman. And see, real men, mind you, I want everybody to understand, anytime I talk about the male, the female, the masculine, the feminine, the man, the woman, I'm talking about the epitome. I'm not talking about today's distortion. Because a real man has no problem putting himself last to a beautiful woman. Let me, shit. Whew. When I get a woman, boy, that's good, that's fine, feminine, emotional, needy, shit. All my shit go to the back. All my shit go to the back. All my shit go to the back. Once she's good, then I can take care of myself. Once she's smiling and she laying in my arms, she's at peace. Whether she's shaking or she's calm for multiple reasons, whatever it is, once she's at peace and she's in happiness, now is my turn. Because she comes first. Do homosexuals put you first? And are they supposed to? I don't blame them. Why am I putting something before me that I don't even desire to live a life with? Homosexuals don't want to grow old with you. Homosexuals don't want to die with you. Yeah, they like to go shopping with you. They like to take your mannerisms. They like to repeat your trends. They like to watch you and study you. But they don't want to live the rest of their life with you. They don't want to grow with you. They don't want to please you. What the hell is wrong with y'all? That's not in their dysfunction. It's not. From the beginning of time, of melanated civilizations, the woman has been revered by the man. We always knew the only peace we hold is the peace that we create within our women. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how powerful you are as a man. When you have a state of women in a point of depression, in a point of sickness, then guess what? You give birth to generations of sickness. And now you don't have a nation, which, as we know, was very common in Europe. Children being sold everywhere, being abandoned, orphanages all over the place, prisons and jails all over the place. Show me an ancient orphanage. Show me an ancient prison system. Show me. Because they did not exist. Because once you put in balance the very first structure of design, because the very first structure of design is the XX and the XY. That's the very first structure of design. Once I got those two in balance, everything else, by law, by universal law, will be in balance. But if I start my existence with the suppression, with the fear, the destruction of my woman's sexuality, of my woman's femininity, then now I have generations of poverty. I have generations of slavery. I have generations of orphans. I have generations of disease. Because as we know, many of our women are so goddamn powerful. Our women are so powerful, they can create diseases from their own minds. So while she is incubating that human being within her system, and she is being abused by that man, she's being neglected by that man, which, by the way, brothers, let me let you know, abuse ain't just beating on your woman. For y'all bitch niggas out there that need to hear this shit, because there's a lot of bitch niggas out there. Abuse of your woman is also the spitefulness towards her. Abuse of your woman is also the ridicule towards her. Abuse of your woman is the neglect towards her. And in my personal opinion, the most abusive thing is neglect. Ignoring your woman. Not putting her first. Putting her last. Looking for your gratification before hers. In my opinion, that's the most abusive. So, how do we get balance of both genders in a homosexual society? How does a homosexual man make a woman his priority? That doesn't even make sense. Oh yeah, you might not be killing them. You might, oh, by the way, let me touch on this real quick and then I'm going to wrap it up. For the past couple months, I've gotten back into my studies of serial killers and the history of serial killers. Now, we all already know, it's very common already, that large, extremely large majority of serial killers in world history. And I'm talking I'm not talking about a nigga that shot up a train with white people. I'm not talking about niggas that shoot other niggas starting from the 70s to the 80s. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Dahmers. We're talking about the Ed Mundens. We're talking about the people, we're talking about the creatures who took murder to a level to where it's just not taking lives, but where it's a combination of dehumanization. It's a combination of objectivity of that body and that human design. So when I speak about that, I'm talking about that perspective. I'm not talking about our results as a people from being under the conditioning of another people, therefore imitating the behavior of them, which falls under genocidal behavior. Because when you study the Europeans' history, this is just facts. This is not a tax. When you study the European history, you're dealing with a genocidal people. You're dealing with a genocidal behavior. Because even when there's not another group of people to oppress or destroy, then they choose to destroy themselves. They used to treat the Irish like shit. They used to treat the Italians like shit. Today they treat the Jews like shit. They will always find a group to destroy through a genocidal reason or destroy through reasons of any difference that can be found. As we know, the justification for Hitler was the pure Nordic, the blue-eyed blonde hair, which is quite interesting because he didn't possess any of these traits, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Now, to wrap this up, what is the difference between respect and cherishment? Respect is just leaving you be. Respect is the acknowledgement of your existence and leaving you be to your existence. Oh shit, I see a dog across the street. Okay, it's not bothering nobody. Hey, dogs will be dogs. See you later, dog. I just respected that dog. Now, when I see that dog and I become fearful of the dog, then I throw things at the dog, then I want to catch the dog, then I want to throw the dog into a fucking dog jail or some shit. Now I'm not having respect for the dog. So right now we're talking about the difference between respect and cherishment. I don't cherish a motherfucking dog. I don't cherish a rat, I don't cherish a roach. But I damn sure respect what they are by their design and by their nature. I don't hate a roach, I don't hate a rat. Y'all have heard me say this numerous times. I don't hate an alligator, I don't hate a wolf. I don't hate any type of predator within nature because I respect their design as what they are in nature. So, respect and cherishment are two different things because I don't cherish an alligator. I don't cherish a wolf. I don't cherish a lion. I respect their designs and I respect their function by predators in nature. So, I brought this up because the brother I was talking to kept equating respect to cherishment when I clearly stated it is impossible. It is impossible And I stand on this, and I challenge anyone from any walk of life, from any race, and any orientation to explain to me how someone who is of an orientation dealing with the same sex, which is a form of narcissism, can cherish someone of the opposite sex. Now, mind you, cherishment is not something that's for a day. Cherishment is not something that's for an hour. Cherishment is something that comes with your life. So how many of these males of imbalanced glandular structure cherish you for life, put you first within their actions, put you first within pleasure, put you first within compromise, put you first within reciprocation? That's the question. I hope I made sense tonight. My goal is always to bring clarity. As usual, since day one, I've always been open to all corrections, all challenges, all debates, or even just adding anything to it, whatever it may be. I've never rejected anyone, because I understand that true expansion comes from exchange. Last point I want to bring up, since I just brought up expansion. It's just like the current new age mindset of pushing you to be alone. Oh, be alone, live alone. Oh, go in the dark and, think about yourself. And, when you're alone, that's when your best things come. Mind Ascension thinks that's bullshit. Because you never really know who you are until you interact in multiple experiences, circumstances, and people. You never see the beast that exists within you until you are thrown within the jungle and have to survive against another beast. How the hell do you expand in a dark room by yourself? Now, don't get me wrong. You want to talk about shadow work? You want to talk about the subconscious? No problem. But when we are talking about the overall expansion of the human being, it's funny how we're in the United States but divided. Yes, absolutely. Yes, brother. Peace. Knowledge, understanding, noble guidance, peace, King. It's funny how we are now in an age that pushes all of us to be alone. Anybody notice that? Go within yourself. Be alone. Who cares what anybody thinks? Bloody, 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 blah. Why are they pushing so hard for you to separate yourself while simultaneously teaching that everything is connected? How does this make sense? Everything I learned about myself came from the exchange of another person, came from the exchange of a situation, came from the experience of a circumstance. How the fuck you know you can fight if you ain't never fought nobody? How the hell you know what love is if you ain't never been loved by another person? How the hell can you understand what it is to share if you've never had to share? How can you understand empathy if you never had to empathize? This doesn't make any sense. And see, this is how you know the current human doesn't utilize intelligence. Because intelligence makes you analyze everything spoken and forms a conclusion based off that analyzation combined with the experiences that give us a foundation of knowingness. See, a God basks in knowingness. He doesn't bask in belief. I gain my knowingness from my experiences. I don't gain my knowingness from secondhand stories. My speculation and my curiosity comes from the stories, which drive my knowingness if I have the drive there. I am an activator. My purpose as a man and as an intelligent man who chose this third dimensional plane is to activate what already resides in all of you. I'm not here to make you into anything. I'm here to recall what you already been. And this is why I don't give a fuck about myself per se, because technically I know within every melanated nine ether being is myself. And just like the ancient priests who were being driven out of Kemet at the time they were being invaded by the Romans, and when they were being executed, they willingly laid their head on the block. And the Romans looked down at the priests and said, "What is with y'all African priests? Why don't you cry? Why don't you beg? Why don't you try to plead for your life?" And those African priests told those Roman soldiers that we know as long as there is a black wound walking around this earth, that we will never die, because our black women will give birth to us again, and we live through that wound eternally. So when you kill me, you're not killing nothing but a body and an individual. My bloodline comes from that wound, and if there's one wound left, we all survive. Because within my one individual structure of multiple cells holds all of you within me. And this is where the capability of psychic aspect comes from. This is where the capability of psychometry and all those other senses that we don't really pay attention to, because we're under European rule that teaches us everything is pseudo, that's not told by them to be real. But this is why that exists, because technically every cell in my body is another individual, just like every cell in my body is a solar system. Every cell in my body is another lifetime. Think about that shit. Every cell in my body is the evidence of another lifetime. And that other lifetime, I was you. And that other lifetime, you was me. And that other lifetime, I was your grandfather. And that other lifetime, I was your uncle. So therefore, there is no separation. So what I do for myself, I do for you. The same way when I destroy myself, I destroy you. Why do you think when black people watch the news and we hear something terrible that somebody did, what's the first thing we think in our mind as black people? Oh boy, I hope it wasn't a black person. Because deep down inside, whether we understand it or not, we know that every black person represents us. We know that we are one with them. So when we see them doing a behavior and an action that is under or lower than the circumstances, or the standards that they should be living by, we take it as if it's ourselves doing it. Because we know there's no separation. We can't explain it. We haven't been taught to understand it. We haven't been taught to explain it, but we know it exists. And that's what makes us the most religious people on the planet, because we understand there's a God particle that exists inside of us. We understand that there's a spirit around us. We don't know what to call it anymore, because we've been cut off from the science that gave us that from our indigenous culture. So we take on anything we're given to adopt that spirituality to that system we call religion. And that's why a black man will be more Christian than any white man. That's why a black man will be more Muslim than any Arab. That's why a black man will be more Jewish than every fucking Jew. Because we have a knowingness that we can't explain. And we have a knowingness that we haven't been taught to break down. So because we haven't been taught how to break it down and understand it, we look for the understanding in things that were given to us after our colonization. So as close as we can get, if that's religion, then that's what we take. And that's what we live by. I'm gonna wrap this up, family. Respect and cherishment. You can respect anything. You can respect anything. But you can't cherish anything, because to cherish something means making it a priority over yourself. If my priority is the attraction of myself, then I cannot make anybody who is not myself, meaning not the same design as myself or the same sex, my priority. Because that contradicts my attraction, my devotion, and my desire. A homosexual is not devoted to a woman. A homosexual does not desire a woman. Therefore, it is impossible for a homosexual to cherish a woman. On that note, family, I love y'all. Mind Ascension, please don't be afraid to comment. Don't be afraid to share. Don't be afraid to challenge. Don't be afraid to subscribe. As many of y'all already know, I've always been here to answer your questions. I've always been here to take on your ridicule or your corrections, whatever you want to do. You want to call me all type of names. Many of y'all already know how I deal with all that. No problem. I embrace it all. I love it. Matter of fact, I hope, I want it. Come for me, please. But at the end of the day, it's the knowingness that prevails. I am a servant. As a man, I come second to the woman. My purpose is a tool. Therefore, in this life, I have an obligation to be the most adequate tool I can possibly be. Therefore, knowledge is my responsibility. And therefore, wisdom is the woman's design. Because it is the cultivation and the accumulation of her experiences that make her wise. But it's the cultivation and accumulation of consistent information in existence that makes me knowledgeable. And then the application of that knowledge that gives me power as a man and the ability to provide order. Knowledge, understanding, noble guidance. First, I must have a knowingness. Then I must have an understanding of that knowingness. Then I must be noble within my actions and my behavior with this knowledge. Then, only then, once those three things come together, do I have the ability to guide anybody, man, woman, or child. Qualities uniting essential earth nurturing. Every woman on this planet possesses multiple qualities. That's actually what makes you feminine, is the fact that you are a multitasker. Some of y'all have qualities that you've never even discovered yet because you're too busy working your ass like a nigga. Don't get mad at me. I didn't tell you that's what freedom and liberation was. Who taught you liberation was male imitation? So wait, because this is the next video, y'all. Let me close with this. Women's liberation, right? What exactly did it free you from? Because before women's liberation, your ass didn't work in factories. Your ass wasn't on construction sites. You wasn't busting sweats. You wasn't getting hurt on the job. So are you telling me that your freedom and your liberation means the imitation of male work and male labor? Is that what liberation is? Is that what your freedom is? Because at one time, your freedom was being taken care of. Your freedom or your responsibility was the nurturing and the health of the family around you. But anyway, let me not turn this into a whole nother one. I love y'all. Mine Ascension amount. 646-575-8305 is the number. Please don't hesitate to call for consultation. Don't hesitate to call for divination, cube viewing. I do text consultations as well. So if you don't want to do a whole hour, if you don't want to do the 2 hour combination, you can always text me. We always work something out. I'm here for y'all. I'm here to be utilized. And see, by the way, and I know I could keep going forever, but every time I say something, it just brings up another one. This is why they're making the man useless. Because once I make the man useless, then I completely obliterate his purpose. Once I give you as a woman all the money, once I give you as a woman all the assistance, once I give you as a woman all the technology, which, by the way, every single one of those things are created and manufactured by men. Money is manufactured by men. Technology is created by men. The house that you bought, a man built it. The car that you drive, a man built it. So while men are doing all these things, they're telling you that men are useless and obsolete. Once I take away the ability for a man to be utilized, I destroy his purpose as a man. And then he must take on feminine traits to continue to exist. Think about it. Where are we now? 646-575-8305. Call for consultation. Call for divination. Text consultations. Whatever it is. I appreciate the small handful of y'all that do tune in, that do tap in, that do share, that do exchange. Love y'all to death, and I love y'all because y'all are me. That's why I love y'all. I don't love y'all because I'm just saying that shit because it sounds cool and I want y'all to love me back. Fuck that shit. If you are of melanin dominance and 9 ether, equation, you are me. You are me. And guess what? I fucking love myself. So if I love myself, that means I love you. So if you know what you are, if you embrace what you are, if you understand the origin of your phenotype, I fucking love you. Because you know you're me and I know I'm you. Mind Ascension, I'm out.
Hello, man. What's up, man?